What if the last message you sent before a trip abroad was a plea, almost like you knew you might not come back? Pray that I return alive. That's the line tied to the case we're decoding today, one that sits at the intersection of love, family loyalty, cultural pressure, and a death that quickly became surrounded by conflicting explanations. Welcome back to True Crime Decoded, and if you're new here, we're glad you found us. Today we're unpacking the life and suspicious death of Saima Shahid, a young British woman whose personal choices may have put her in the crosshairs of something far bigger than herself. Before we dive in, take a second to like this video, subscribe to True Crime Decoded, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next case. And as you listen, drop your theories in the comments, because this story raises questions that don't have simple answers. Samia grew up in Bradford, England, in a large Pakistani Muslim family well known locally, with strong community ties and family businesses. Her parents were immigrants from a village in Pakistan, referred to here as Pandori, who built a stable life in the UK while raising their daughters with a traditional Sunni upbringing. And this is where the central tension begins. Samia was living in a Western country where independence is expected, but inside her family structure, major life decisions were still closely guided, or even controlled, by parents and elders. So let's pause and ask, if you were caught between those worlds, how much of yourself would you give up just to keep the peace? Tell us what you think in the comments. As Samia reached her mid-20s, her family arranged a match with her cousin, Chaudhry Muhammad Shakil, back in Pakistan. Samia agreed out of duty and a desire to make her parents proud, even though she reportedly didn't see him as the partner she wanted. A multi-day wedding followed, lavish, celebratory, and public. But once the guests left and real life began, friends later recalled that Samia felt trapped and deeply unhappy trying to adjust to life in a rural village setting. When she returned to the UK, she was expected to help process spousal visa paperwork for Shakil. Yet she reportedly delayed, telling people the relationship felt suffocating and controlling. Because it's not long after this that someone new enters her life, and everything changes. The turning point came when Samia met Syed Mukhtar Kazim, known as Ali. He's described as kind, attentive, and everything she believed a partner should be. Their connection grew quietly, then secretly. And eventually, Samia made a decision that, in some families, can be seen as unforgivable. She chose to end her first marriage so she could live openly with Ali. Because her first marriage was conducted under Islamic law, this account says she approached the Islamic Sharia Council in the UK and stated under oath that the marriage had been forced under family pressure. When Shakil refused to cooperate, a cleric reportedly declared the marriage invalid, and Samia went on to marry Ali in a quiet religious ceremony and then in a UK civil registry office. Now here's where we need to slow down. This story has competing versions. Even within the same overall narrative, there are differences in how arranged versus forced is described, and later statements from family members contest the idea that Samia was coerced at all. So keep that in mind as we move forward, because what happens next feels less like coincidence and more like escalation. Not long after the secret marriage, Samia was attacked in an alley by men who reportedly focused on harming only her, leaving her cousin untouched. Police documented bruising, and officers also heard a phone call in which Samia's mother berated her, highlighting how intense the family hostility had become. So what was that attack? Random street violence, or a message meant to scare her back into line? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, because the next step Samia takes is a major one. Fearing for her safety in Bradford, Samia and Ali planned a new start in Dubai, where Samia reportedly felt independent for the first time in a long time. Friends said she seemed brighter there, driving, cooking, sharing photos, and talking about the future. But she couldn't fully cut the emotional cord to Bradford. She called her family often, hoping they would eventually accept Ali and her remarriage. Her family, however, allegedly rejected the divorce process and insisted she was still Shakil's wife in their community's eye. They also confronted the cleric who had helped her, accusing Samia of adultery, and threats were made against the cleric for supporting what they saw as wrongdoing. And despite the danger, Samia kept reaching for reconciliation, which leads directly to the decision that would end her life. In mid-2016, Samia learned that Shakil's mother had died. Then she was told her own father's health had worsened while he was in Pakistan, and that he might not have much time left. Samia was torn between fear and guilt. Ali reportedly urged her not to go, afraid of exactly what many of you are probably thinking right now, but in the end he drove her to the airport. Just before leaving, Samia messaged a friend, "Pray that I return alive." After landing in Pakistan, she reportedly spent her first night at a friend's home, leaving her passport and return ticket there for safekeeping, and stayed in contact with Ali. She visited family, went to her aunt's grave, and spoke about returning to Dubai within days. Then on July 20, the messages stopped. Ali's calls and texts went unanswered. And that same evening, police received a call from a distressed man reporting that his daughter had died. Officers arrived to find Samia's body at the bottom of a staircase, with her face partially covered in foam at her mouth. Her shoes and handbag were nearby. Her father told police she had been living in the house with her husband Shakil and had fallen down the stairs. An autopsy was carried out, and early reporting suggested no signs of violence, so her death was treated as non-suspicious. In line with local custom described here, burial happened quickly, on the same day, because there was considered to be no dispute about the cause of death. But almost immediately, rumors and reports started contradicting each other. Heart attack, asthma, a broken neck from a fall, even suicide linked to depression about not having children, an idea the family denied. Ali was told she died of a heart attack, but he didn't accept it. He flew to Pakistan and reported to police that his wife had been murdered, explaining the background of her first marriage, the divorce, and the family conflict. That context changed everything. Authorities began to consider the case as a possible honor killing, though the quick burial made the search for evidence far more difficult. So here's the question: accident or staging? Tell us what you think so far. When the full post-mortem report became available, this script says it described a bruise encircling Samia's neck and listed strangulation as the cause of death, with male DNA found inside her body. There were later allegations that officers were bribed early on to downplay or conceal what the autopsy showed. Ali held a press conference, displayed photos of the neck bruise, and demanded justice, moves that reportedly triggered serious threats and the need for round-the-clock police protection. Back in the UK, Samia's friends contacted Bradford Minister Naz Shah, who wrote directly to Pakistan's Prime Minister and explicitly raised the possibility of an honor killing. According to this account, that pressure pushed Pakistani authorities to reopen the investigation more aggressively. Eventually, Samia's father and Shakil were detained for questioning after Shakil went into hiding. Investigators said Shakil admitted he tried to stop Samia from returning to Dubai by searching for her passport and ticket, then forced himself on her when she refused. It also claims the autopsy evidence of semen supported that portion of the account, and that Shakil described using her scarf to strangle her when she tried to escape. Police suspected the motive wasn't just anger, it was honor, believing some relatives saw Samia's divorce and second marriage as a public humiliation. Investigators theorized the death was later staged as an accident, but despite suspicions and statements, securing a conviction proved difficult. Over time, both men were released, with courts citing insufficient evidence to keep them jailed, even though Samia's death was officially classified as homicide. Shakil later remarried and attempted to obtain a visa to the UK, and an MP from Bradford worked to have that application rejected. Samia's father later died of kidney failure, leaving questions about his exact role unresolved. Pakistani authorities later issued warrants for Samia's sister, but she returned to the UK and publicly defended the family. Her sister claimed Samia wasn't controlled, said she had chosen her first husband freely, and alleged that life with Ali in Dubai had been financially difficult, directly challenging the version told by Samia's friends. And that's where this case remains, even today, split between narratives, layered with cultural and legal complexity, and marked by the tragedy at its center. Saima Shahid's story forces painful questions into the open. When does family honor stop being tradition and start becoming a weapon? And what happens to someone caught between expectations and the simple desire to choose who they love? No matter which version you believe, one point shouldn't be debatable: no belief system justifies taking away someone's right to live. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think justice was truly served here, or did the truth get buried along with the evidence? Thanks for watching True Crime Decoded. If this case made you think, please like the video, subscribe to True Crime Decoded, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more cases decoded soon, stay with us, because we'll be back.